Welcome everybody. My name is Anil and today we talk about cell, the structure and functions of cell, which is the basic unit of life. Class 7 Biology, Chapter 1. Cell, the structural unit of life. What is a cell? Every human being is made up of cell. Every living thing is made up of plants, animals, everything is made up of cell. That is a basis, that is a building block, that is a brick using which the plant is formed or the animal is becoming alive and roaming around. So cells are the building blocks of all living organisms. Cella means compartment. It is from this word cella that the word cell has been derived. Study of cells is called cytology or cell theory. Who were the important people who are called the father of or the important scientists who helped us to study about cell? There are two important persons. One is Antony von Leeuwenhoek. He used a simple microscope, which is only a simple lens, to see or recognize or identify or discover a cell. What did he see first? He saw the blood cells, the capillaries of a frog. And what was he using? He was using a biconvex lens simple microscope. He saw the blood capillaries of the frog. And then there is another person called Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke did what? He used a compound microscope. Compound microscope means it is not a simple biconvex lens but a complex lens. So what did he find out? What did he observe? He was observing a dead cork, and the cork looked like cells of the priests in the monastery. So because the cells looked like compartments, he called looked like cubicles piled together, he called them a cell. So the first person to see a cell was Anthony, but the first person to call it a cell was Robert Hooke. Cell is a basic unit. Why we call cell is a basic unit? Because from a structural perspective as well as functional perspective, cell is a basic unit of plants and animals. Every life starts with a cell. The yellow in the egg is nothing but a cell. And this cell, by way of repeated divisions, become multiplied and become so many cells. The cells become tissues and organs, and then the life form is created. There are certain creatures called unicellular, that means one cell only. For example, bacteria, yeast, amoeba, paramecium, etc. There are many organisms. Most of what we see around us, the plants and animals, are multicellular, that is many cells. Everything from ant to elephant, from grass to banyan, from a tadpole to whale, everything is multicellular. Now, living substances have protoplasm, cytoplasm, and nucleus as a part of the cell. A cell can be easily divided. If you look from a microscope, you will see a protoplasm, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Now, plasm means a sort of liquid. Cytoplasm is a liquid inside a cell. Okay, now why we say only these three things, protoplasm, cytoplasm, and nucleus? Because from a simple microscopes, we will be able to see only this much. Today, we have electron microscope. Electron microscope gives us very detailed information about the cells. For example, using an electron microscope, when you try to study a cell, the cell will look like this. This many details you will be able to see. Now, the cells are of different shapes. Cells are of different sizes. Now, an amoeba, this is the shape of a cell. Can you say what shape is this? Is it circle? Is it square? Is it rectangle? No. So this is an irregular shape. This is a unicellular amoeba. Where do you find this type of amoeba? Mostly in fresh water. It is a single cell. So this is called, this light blue color what you see all over here is called the ectoplasm, endoplasm, cytoplasm of the cell. This is called the nucleus. The thick portion is called the nucleus. The core of the nucleus is called nucleolus. Then you have a cell membrane. In case of plants, you have a cell wall. In case of animals, you have only a cell membrane. You also have a vacuole. What is a vacuole? The food is digested, absorbed, assimilated, and sent out through or using the or with the help of the vacuole in a cell. These are what? These are all the pseudopod. Pseudopod means what? False legs. Pod is a leg. That is why we call as biped. Human beings are bipeds, two legs. Pseudo is false. So between these two pseudopods, if a small another microorganism comes, they will close the pseudopod and then the organism will be trapped by this unicellular amoeba. This microorganism will be taken into the food vacuole. There are certain juices in the food vacuole which will digest. This amoeba itself is a unicellular microorganism that will digest the other microorganism, take whatever food is required. That is called as absorption and assimilation, and the waste is thrown out from the vacuole. This is how a amoeba or a unicellular organism works. So, like we have studied in an human being or in an animal, we have ingestion where we take food and then we take the food inside to stomach. There the digestive juices are mixed. Then we take to small intestine where it is absorbed. Then it goes to large intestine where even the leftover water and other minerals are absorbed, and then it goes to anus and rectum and it is thrown out by the excretory system. So these are the various steps of how a nutrition is absorbed by a living thing. The same is happening in amoeba also. Food comes into a vacuole, it is absorbed and assimilated and thrown out. Oval shaped cells. Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is an oval shaped cell, and then you have a cilium also. So here also you have the nucleus. This portion is called the what do we call? The cytoplasm. You have a Golgi body, which is again a organelle. Organelle is what? A smaller part of organ. Just like body has organs like respiratory organ, lungs, or heart for pumping blood, or stomach and intestine for digestion. We have different organs, like we have 6 organs. Like that, the organs of chlamydomonas, or any cell is called organelles. And then this is a oval shaped cell. Then we have oblong sized shapes. What are oblong sized cells? Paramecium has a shape of oblong shape. There also the inner organelles of the cell are the same. You have a food vacuole, you have a cytoplasm, you have a nucleus. Here we have 2 nucleus, micro and macro nucleus in an oblong shape paramecium. Elongated cells. Elongated cells, this is a skeletal muscle. This is a smooth muscle on your skin or chin. This is your cardiac muscle, which is a combination of both two. These are the different types of cells in the muscles of human body or animal body. These are elongated and contractile. This helps in movement. In paramecium, it is slipper shaped. In chlamydomonas, it is oval shaped. In amoeba, it is irregular shape. Then we have long thread-like cells. Long thread-like cells. What is a good example? Nerve cells are the good example. Why? Nerve cells have to communicate, carry the message from one end of the body to another. They have to carry the instruction from the brain to the extremes of the body. So to carry the message over longer distances, these cells are long shaped. Then we have cubicle shaped cells. Cubicle shaped cells are mostly found in plants, that is they are rectangular shaped. Plants also have a tubular or a polygonal shaped cells. Here also this blue color thing is called the vacuole. This light green is the cytoplasm, and then you have a cell membrane and a cell wall. The bright green is cell wall in plants. In animals we mostly don't have cell wall. So this is Golgi apparatus and different organelles. We will see in detail later. The size of the cell. Cells are of different sizes. The smallest cell is 2 to 5 micrometer only. What is a micrometer? 1 by 1000 of a millimeter. What is a millimeter? In your normal foot scale, you have 30 centimeter, each centimeter divided into 10 millimeter. When you have a 1 by 1000 of a millimeter, it is called micrometer. The smallest cells of the cell. What are the longest cells? Some cells are up to 3 meter long. What are the largest cells? Bird's egg are the largest cell. Why? Because we know the yellow of the egg is a cell. And which is the bulkiest cell when we know? We know about the turkey and ostrich. Ostrich lays a very big egg. The egg of an ostrich is about 20 centimeter. 20 centimeter means what? 200 millimeter. That is how the egg of an ostrich is. What is a cell theory? Who are the people behind the cell theory? One scientist called Matthias Jacobsdorff declared that every plant consists of cells that perform different functions. So he studied plants and he said there are different functions that happens in a plant, and cells are the ones who conduct these functions. So functionally, he found out in plants, cells are the basic unit. Then Theodor Schwann, he is also a German. He confirm that the basic level in any cell is a nucleus and it is surrounded by the cytoplasm, and this is enclosed in a cell membrane. So nucleus, cytoplasm and cell membrane are the parts of a cell or the structure of a cell. So the structural aspect and functional aspect, the basis or the foundation were laid in 1838 and 1839 by two German scientists. That is why we say the cell theory basis is from them. Then what happened? In 1858, after a few years, Rudolf, he found out or he declared that new cells grow from older cells. That is, one cell gives birth to another. So, cell is a functional unit, cell is a basic structural unit, and cell is a unit for reproduction. So, these three scientists together gave us the basis for the cell theory. So, what we know now, every living organism is made of one or more cells. The structure of an organism is given by the structure of the cell, and then activity of any organism is a reflection of the activity in a cell. That means the function. The cells conduct the function, and so the human body or a plant functions. If the cells in the leaf do not carry out photosynthesis, the leaf or the plant cannot carry out photosynthesis. That is what we call as a functional aspect. And then all cells gain their existence from pre-existing ones. That means what? One cell gives birth to another. Cells formed by from one cell, another cell is created. Size of the cell, we have seen. There are different sizes, smallest, largest. Now let us do two experiments you can do in your lab. One is if you take out a small portion of your skin, scrap a portion of your skin, add a stain, maybe methylene blue, and look in a microscope, you will find these cells are irregular in shape when you take it from your cheek, in your mouth. Likewise, if you pull out from your using a forceps a portion of the plant, that is leaves of the onion, and then add a diluted iodine for staining it and look at the microscope, you will find these cells are rectangular in shape. Why rectangular? Because most of the plants are rectangular or polygonal cell shape. Functional aspects. In functional aspects, plants, the root cells help in absorption of the water or minerals. So if there are no cells in the root, if the root cells die or the root dies, the tree will not get water and minerals from the soil. Likewise, chlorophyll in the leaf help in photosynthesis. If there are no leaves, then no photosynthesis might be possible. So these are the functional aspects of the way in which cells help the plants. In animals, if you see, the cell glands secrete digestive juices. So digestive juices in the mouth, the mucus and the saliva, and then in the stomach you have different juices, and then the pancreas, the bile juice, the liver, everything gives different juices which comes to the stomach sac and then to the small intestine, from where the food is digested, the broken down, metabolism happens. All this happens because of the cells. If there are no cells, we will not be able to do all that. Likewise, when you try to move your hand, the muscles are pushing from one side and relaxing from the other end. That is why the bones are able to, bones and muscles together is able to help you move your hand, your leg, your mouth or face. All this happens because the cells have an expansion or a contraction or an elongation capability. Likewise, the nerve cells carry the information, the instruction from the brain, move your hand, it is hot. This instruction is coming from the brain. You are getting that instruction because of the nerve cell. Likewise, when you touch it is hot, that information that it is hot is going from your fingertip to the brain through the nerve cells. Again, as we discussed, food is oxidized in the cell. So when we say food is digested in the stomach, food is oxidized in the cell to give energy to work or keep warm. The food, the nutrition is taken through the blood vessels and capillaries to various parts of the body. There in the cell it is oxidized. Structural aspect of a cell. There are three essential parts of a cell. As we know, one is nucleus, which regulates or coordinates the processes. That is the one that controls the cell, or we can, in simple words, we can say brain of the cell. It controls or coordinates the activities of a cell. It is a small spherical part. What is special about nucleus? It is the nucleus that carries the genes or hereditary information of a person. Nucleus of a man is different from nucleus of a frog, is different from nucleus of a monkey, which is again different from nucleus of a banyan tree. So genes, the heredity, how I look like, why I have brown eyes, why you have blue eyes, why somebody has a red hair, is because of the nucleus. Cytoplasm, semi-liquid. It is colorless. It is translucent. That means what? We can see through a little bit, not transparent, but translucent. It covers most of the cell's living portion. Or when we say, when you look at a cell, most of the place what you see in a cell is nothing but a cytoplasm. It is semi-liquid. It is not fully liquid. It is semi-liquid. Then we have the cell membrane. Cell membrane is a plasma. It is an enclosure. It covers. It is a protective layer or the fence. It is thin. It is flexible. It is delicate and it is permeable. And it is alive and with pores. It is permeable means what? It allows certain thing in and out. It has pores means what? It has a small holes which you cannot see with the naked eye, but it will allow air and liquid to go in and out. It is thin and flexible. That is why your hands or legs, when you touch, you are able to push your skin and the muscles a little millimeter inside. That is why the cells are flexible. They are thin. Now, what is special about cell membrane? It allows only certain things to go out and it allows only certain things to come in. That means it is what? It is semi-permeable. It is not fully permeable. Everything cannot go in and go out. Certain things it allows in, certain things it allows out. That is why when you pour water or oil on your hand or skin, it does not go inside your body, right? But sometimes when, though you know there is a lot of blood in your body, it doesn't come out. But when there is a cut, the blood comes out to a certain extent, for a certain time. So that is why certain things at certain times it is allowed in, allowed out. This is controlled by the cell membrane. It is semi-permeable. Now plants have something extra. What is it called? Cell wall. This is in addition to the cell membrane. This cell wall is made up of cellulose. Cellulose gives what? Strength. Cell wall is made up of cellulose and it gives strength, rigidity or protection, and it is not permeable. So now let us look at the differences of a plant and animal cell. Why this picture is like this in a plant cell? Because it is rectangular or polygonal. This doesn't have a specific shape. It can be oval, it can be irregular, whatever it is. Now we have seen this is the nucleus of a cell. Nucleus of a cell is almost similar. Then you have a vacuole where in plant cell the food remains, or in amoeba also we have seen a vacuole. And then we have a cell wall in a plant cell. In animal cell we don't have a cell wall. Both of them have cytoplasm, which is a major portion of the cell that you see in the living organism. Then plasma has a membrane, the cell wall has a membrane. Then you have a Golgi apparatus, which is a controlling aspect. Chloroplast is what gives the chlorophyll capacity or chlorophyll characteristic to a cell. That is a chloroplast in plant cell. Then we have ribosomes, which are closer to the nucleus. We will study more about endoplasmic reticulum and ribosome and etc. in the next few slides. What is nucleus? You should know how to draw a nucleus because this is one of the draw and label questions which will score good marks for you. Delicate membrane enclosing the dense nucleoplasm is there in a cell. Nucleus has a delicate membrane enclosing a dense nucleoplasm. This is called nucleolus. Small darker body inside is there, nucleolus. Then these red dots are called nuclear pores. So this thing is the nucleus. This is a section, we have cut it for you to see what you can see. This thing is the nucleus. These red dots are called the nuclear pores. This is called the nuclear envelope or the membrane of the nucleus. Then these are called chromatin. These lines, the root-like lines are called chromatin. These are dark stained and thread-like. This structure is called chromatin. The speciality of chromatin is the chromatin becomes ribbon-like and thick at the time of cell division. This is called nucleolus. Nucleolus. The heart of the nucleus is called nucleolus. Nucleus itself is nothing but a sort of heart of the cell. There is nucleoplasm here. A delicate membrane is there enclosing the dense nucleoplasm. In the nucleoplasm only you have the nucleolus and the chromatin. What is chromosome? The chromatin becomes thick like a ribbon-like structure. That is what we said a minute ago. So this chromatin during cell divisions becomes thick and then it is called a chromosome. Human beings have 26 pairs of chromosome. Most of the animals are having chromosome in pairs. Human beings have 26 pairs. Now what happens is, when an egg is formed, when a sperm is formed, this chromosome each will have 26 only, and when the egg and sperm together become an egg, it becomes 26 pairs of chromosome, and then at that point in time is what it becomes, a male or a female. And then whether you are blue eyed, whether you are a human being, whether you are a dog, all that happens when the male and female aspect of the cell becomes an egg. This chromosome is unique for every living species. Now, as we said, because of the latest technology, today science has so much developed that you have something called electron microscope. So this is not what people saw in 1758 when they first saw the cell. So now you have this much detail, you can see in 3 dimension, you can see how thick it is, what color it could be, how deep it is, how large it is, you can see all these things. Again, this is your nucleus, this is your nucleolus, this is your chromatin which becomes chromosomes, this is a nuclear envelope, nucleolus we have seen already, and then we have a plasma membrane from the nuclear perspective. And then you have a vacuole, you'll also have glycosome, mitochondrion, endoplasmic reticulum. All these are the different organelles of a cell. You have important thing is Golgi apparatus and ribosome are the important parts. Let us see a little bit more in detail. Endoplasmic reticulum is a continuous membrane, a series of flattened sacs where proteins and other molecules are transported. Endoplasmic reticulum is a continuous membrane series of flattened sacs where proteins and other molecules, and it helps in transportation. So this is your endoplasmic reticulum. This is your endoplasmic reticulum. This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, this blue color wave like thing, and this thread like mesh like thing is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. All this is part of endoplasmic reticulum. This is the smooth series of flattened sacs, a continuous membrane which helps in transportation of proteins and molecules to and from the cell. Next is ribosome. Ribosome is made up of RNA. RNA is called a ribonucleic acid. How does it help? It helps in synthesizing proteins, ribosome. It reads the sequence of the messenger, the information that comes in. It is called mRNA, messenger RNA, ribonucleic acid, and using a genetic code, translates the sequence that it read of the RNA bases into sequence of amino acids, converts into amino acid, ribosome RNA. Now, during COVID, you would have heard there are different types of vaccine. One vaccine is called Moderna. Moderna vaccine works on the basis of the mRNA, the way in which mRNA works. Now ribosome, this is a ribosome. These are the ribosomes. What is special about the ribosome? They are synthesizing proteins. They are synthesizing proteins. Mitochondria. Mitochondria release energy from the food. Mitochondria release energy from the food. They generate most of the chemical energy needed for the biochemical reactions, and the chemical energy is stored in adenosine triphosphate. This word you should remember. Mitochondria stores the chemical energy in adenosine triphosphate. Where is mitochondria? This one is mitochondrion. This red and orange. This is mitochondrion. Plural and singular, we have a different spelling. So mitochondria releases energy from the blood, generates most of the chemical energy. Golgi body secretes hormones and enzymes. So that is the specialty of Golgi body. It secretes the hormones and enzymes. How it helps? It helps in modifying and packaging the proteins and lipids into vesicles for delivery to targeted destination. Secretes hormones. This is the Golgi apparatus, the green one. This Golgi apparatus secretes the hormones and enzymes which are required to decide how to break down the cell to be handed over to the vesicles for sending to targeted destination. Because what you require in the eye is not same as what you require in your food, is not require as what you say require in your skin. So it is decided what is necessary, and based on the hormones and enzymes it is modified and packed, and lipids are sent to vesicles. Lysosome. What is it, lysosome? It again is a digestive zoom. It The enzyme breaks down excess or worn out cell parts because cells undergo wear and tear. The excess or worn out cell parts are broken down by lysosome. It takes the work of a janitor, it cleans up. It destroys invading viruses and bacteria also. So lysosome, this is a lysosome, this small white and blue. This lysosome kills the broken or damaged parts of the cell. It repairs the cell and it also kills or destroys the viruses and bacteria. Break down excess or worn out cell and destroy the virus and bacteria, lysosome. Then comes the centrosome. It's a regulator of the cell progression. Regulator of the cell progression is centrosome. So where do you have a centrosome? In this image that is not highlighted. Centrosome matrix. This thing, centriole and centrosome, centriole and centrosome. So centrosome, regulator of the cell progression. Chloroplast, this is only in plants. They trap the solar energy. Aminoplast, this is also only in plants. They carry color pigments. For example, your apple is red in color, orange is orange in color, or rose is rose in color because of the amyloplast. Chloroplast is trap the solar energy, chlorophyll cells of the leaves. Leucoplast, they store the protein in seeds. Leucoplast store the protein in seeds so that when the seed germinates, the minimum energy required till the root and shoot start to get the soil and nutrients from water from the soil and go to the sunlight and create their own food. Till such time whatever protein is required, leucoplast stores. So these are found only in plants: chloroplast, amyloplast and leucoplast. So we have centrioles which controls the cell, we have a ribosome, and then we have lysosome, we have mitochondrium, endoplasmic reticulum. All these are the important organelles of a cell. Endoplasmic reticulum, series of flattened sacs which helps in transportation. Ribosome, it reads the information on the incoming genetic code and translates into a sequence of amino acid. Mitochondria generates a chemical energy and stores in adenosine triphosphate. Golgi body, it modifies and packages protein for the targeted destination to be delivered to vesicles. Golgi body secrete hormone and enzyme. Lysosome also secrete hormone and enzyme for what? For breaking down the excess or worn out cell parts or destroying virus and bacteria. Centrosome is the regulator of this cell. Now organelle we have seen. Now one important part is a vacuole. Vacuole in animals, it is dense and small. It helps to sequester the waste products. But in plants, it is a cell sap. It is a large liquid, maintains water balance. So we can see the vacuole is a large having liquid state in plants. In animals, the vacuole is very small and many times not even present, and it, if present, helps only in sequestering the waste products. Cell division, there are two types of division. One is mitosis, one is meiosis. In mitosis, what happens is the chromosome duplicates and distribute equally to the daughter cell. As we said earlier, 23 pairs if a human being is having, for example, then the cell will have 23 pairs, but during mitosis, it will not be 23 pair, it will be only 23. Each portion will get only 23. This is distribute equally to the. If you distribute equally, you will have full. If you distribute half, then you will have 23. This is the difference between mitosis and meiosis. So in mitosis, even when every cell is cell division happens, if the parent cell has 23 pairs, the daughter cell will also have 23 pairs. Mitosis, daughter cell will also have 23 pairs. Meiosis, daughter cell will not have 23 pair. Meiosis, daughter cell will have only 23. Okay, what are the types of mitosis? One is for growth. The fertilized egg divides repeatedly to form a cluster which shape into tissues and organs for different function. The yellow in the egg after a few days becomes the full grown bird or a whatever, reptile or whatever. Why? How? Because the fertilized egg divides repeatedly to form cluster which shape into tissues and organs for different functions. The cell division called mitosis also happens for replacement. Why? During normal wear and tear, some portion of your skin, your hair, your nails, your skin, from your surface of the skin, small dead cells keeps on falling every minute of the day. So these cells needs to be replaced in your skin. So during normal life, the wear and tear happens, and every minute 20 million red blood cells are killed by the body because they retire, they become old, they become useless for the body. So for growth, mitosis is required. For replacement, mitosis is required. For repair, also mitosis is required. What is repair? Injuries happens. The tissue or the cell gets broken. When wear and tear happens, there is a gap. A bone is broken, or a skin is torn off, or a tissue is broken. So there is a wedge, and the opening needs to be sealed. The gap needs to be filled. The ends needs to be joined. This happens. This is repair. So, the sealing of the opening, the joining of the ends, the covering of the gaps in a plant or an animal happens by way of repair of cells, and for this, cell division is necessary. So, cell division is necessary for growth, replacement, and repair, and this type of cell division is called mitosis, where the chromosome duplicate and distribute equally. Another type of cell division is called the cell division for reproduction, that is called meiosis. Here the chromosome are halved. Here duplicate and distribute. Here it is halved. And after fusion of the egg and sperm, the actual number is restored. So 23 pairs become 23 only. And after fusion of the egg and sperm, it becomes 23 pairs again. In reproduction, what happens is the cells of the gonads, the testes and ovaries, divide to form sperms and eggs. The cells of the testes and ovaries, the cells of the testes become sperm, the cells of the ovaries form the eggs. These cells are having chromosomes that are halved. And when the sperm and the eggs undergo fusion, the number of chromosomes is restored, and this process is called fertilization. The fusion of the sperm from testes and eggs from ovaries is called fertilization, where they fuse to form a single cell called zygote, which becomes the egg. And then the egg again, after the meiosis is complete, the reproduction becomes fertilization. The egg divides repeatedly to form a cluster and shapes into tissues and organs by way of mitosis to become the different parts of the body of the plant or animal. So this is what it is. We were discussing class 7 biology, cell and the structure and functional unit of the plant and animal.